You are listening to Autumn Huranyok, and this is Red Cloud coming to you from Pasqua, Yaqui. I'm taking part here today at the 2014 Pasqua, Yaqui Family Wellness Conference. I know it's been a while. I've been on, the last time I was on air was during this past summer for the Youth Empowerment Show, along with two other DJs. And for those of you that don't know who I am DJ Red Cloud from Autumn High School. And I'm here today. I'm interviewing a young Native American lady who is extremely talented on the court and also is highly educated in the classroom. Jude Schimmel, ladies and gentlemen, a Native American of the Umatilla Nation out in Oregon. She is a senior at the University of Louisville, home of the Cardinals. Also plays guard for the University of Louisville women's basketball team. She is well known around Indian country, along with her older sister, Jude Schimmel, who is a rookie in the WNBA with the Atlanta Dream, as also a very successful young lady. So welcome to Arizona.
Thank you.
And how do you feel to be here today taking part of the 2014 Pasqua Yaqui's Family Wellness Conference, also being that you are the keynote speaker?
Yeah, it's a great feeling just knowing that so many Native Americans want to hear, our story, my family's story, and what Shawnee and I, have done, and what we've been through and how we've got to where we are today. But I think also being the keynote speaker, I don't want to say it's overwhelming, but I was joking around to my parents the other day, and I was like, I'm only 20. Like, do people get that? But no, I think it's really humbling just to know that so many people, are behind us and want to hear what we have to say.
Okay. At what age did you start playing basketball, and when did you know that this was going to be your sport?
I started playing when I was 4, but I would say I started playing seriously when I was in 3rd grade. But honestly, I don't know. I feel like growing up, we played pretty much every sport, so I don't know if I ever really thought like basketball is my sport. But I think I started taking it really seriously is when I got to my sophomore year and my junior year of high school, because that's that was crunch time. So either I was gonna get a scholarship or I wasn't. But so I would say my sophomore year.
Well, that's cool. How much practice and effort did you put into be as good as you are today?
Well, when I was younger, to me it was just fun. So I didn't really think about it as discipline or practice when I was younger. But my parents were actually our AAU coaches, so we practiced every single day. We were fortunate enough to have access to a gym too, so that was really cool. But when I was younger, starting in 3rd grade, we practiced like every single day of the week. But that was just because we wanted to and we found it really fun. But now that I'm older, it's a lot more structured practice and a lot more, we have weightlifting, we have conditioning, and then we have basketball practice. I would say, anywhere from like 20 to 23 hours a week is how much we practice. But I like to tell people that it's more, the quality than the quantity of how much you work out. So just make sure, if you're out there working out, do it for a purpose and, get it done.
Okay. Who were your influences growing up, and was there a specific person or basketball player?
Well, when I was growing up, there was a lot of people that I looked up to. I mean, I looked up to my parents, I looked up to my older brother and my older sister, and I mentioned earlier when we were speaking that Shawnee and I and my cousins, we would joke around and pretend to be, professional basketball players playing outside on our hoop. So there was a few people that I looked up to professionally, which was we really like the Houston Comets, and that team's not there anymore, but Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, people like that, Lisa Leslie. So there's a lot of different people that I looked up to while I was growing up. I would say the biggest one is probably my older siblings.
What is it like what was it like having to leave the reservation to Portland, Oregon, and start a new lifestyle?
At first, it was really hard. I feel like growing up on the reservation got really comfortable, and our whole family was there, so we knew everybody. Everybody knew us. But when we moved, it was hard for our family at first, and it took us a while, to get adapted to that new lifestyle. But we kind of just tried to embrace it and make new friends and share our culture with other people too. But overall, I'm really glad that we went through that, and I feel like everything happens for a reason. So getting that experience kind of helped me when I had to go off to college. So I'm thankful for it.
Do you think if you were still on the res, would you be doing what you're doing now?
I have no idea. I just said everything happens for a reason, but I don't really know what I would be doing. I know that I would still be doing something positive for myself and for my family and for Native Americans, but who's to say that I would be a Division One athlete? I don't really know.
Um, did you set a goal in life that this is where you were going to end up?
um, In terms of school, yes. I've valued education ever since I was a little kid. So, in that term, yeah. But when it comes to sports, I had no idea. Even when I was getting recruited for college, I always joke around and say the only reason they recruited me was because I was Shoney's sister, and Shoney is obviously a really great basketball player. But I mean, me and my mom say it all the time. If Shoney got us to where we are because of how big and how popular she is, that's fine because we're here. We're here now.
Yes.
But I had no idea that I would, be where I am today in terms of sports.
What was it like playing with your sister for numerous years? Because that is very rare that you get to see that. And, you got to play with her in college and high school. But especially in college, you don't really get to see that.
Right. I think we played together for about 16 or 17 years, which is a really long time. And we're only a year and a half apart. So when it comes to sports, we've always been, side by side. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like you said, it's very, very rare that that happens, especially at the collegiate level. And I actually had the opportunity to go to an Ivy League school, and I almost did, but I'm glad I didn't because I wouldn't have, shared that experience with my sister on the court in college. But it's people always ask me now, like, are you sad that she's gone and that you're gonna have to play by yourself? Like, I am sad, but at the same time, I'm not. I feel like, um, when we play together, we play a certain way, and then when I have to play by myself, I feel like it's my turn to step up. So, I'm sad that she's gone, and I'm sad that we're not playing together. But we're keeping our fingers crossed that hopefully in the near future we'll be back together.
What was it like playing for your mom and having her as the coach and early on in your age? I know back in the days when my mom was a coach, my sister said she would never hear the end of it. She would always hear that um, you need to work on this, or there was always something you heard at dinner time or just anywhere else. You always heard about your mistakes, but how was that for you?
I always tell people my mom's my favorite coach. Like she always has been, she always will be. I feel like just the way she approaches the game, how she approaches individuals. She knows, how to get people to be the best that they can be. And honestly, she told us before she even coached us in high school that there's gonna be a divider between the mom and the coaching side of things. So, that we understood that, and sports and basketball was one thing, and then daughter and mother time was a completely different thing. So. Um, I mean, I just said it earlier that, she's my favorite coach. And without her, I don't really know if I would be where I am today because she kind of gave me the opportunity to play while I was in high school, which, made coaches look at me and got me a scholarship. So it was cool having her as my coach. I kind of miss it.
Okay, now the Baylor game. What was your emotions, or what was going through your head when you were going against the number one player in the NCAA, Brittany Griner, as well as with Odyssey Sims and the Baylor Bears?
Right. Well, after we won, I don't know what was going through my head. I was way too excited. There was so many things going on at once. My parents made a bet, like if we won that game, that they would get married. So that emotion was going through me, and then the fact that we just took down, the number one seed in the tournament. And the fact that I got to share that experience with my sister, and the fact that my family was there, my siblings were there to watch it, and it was, I kind of say it's like the David and Goliath story in the Bible, where we pretty much took down the giant and nobody was expecting it. So it was a great experience, and like I said, my emotions were going way too wild. I don't even know what I was thinking, but I was just really happy.
And also, what were you feeling when you played the NCAA National 2013 Championship game?
Um, Again, it was kind of just like, I can't believe I'm here. I'm really, really happy to be there. But at the same time, we were out there to get a championship. We fell short, but at the same time, just the fact that, two little res girls grew up, and the fact that they're in the national championship, it's pretty rare, but it was a cool experience. And, I don't know, I was just really happy to be there. Upset that we fell short, but at the same time, it was just a great experience overall.
What was it like to be televised by the making of Off the Res with your family and Shoney?
It was kind of weird at first. It was kind of just like a invasion of our private lives, but the people who did the filming, we actually kind of became good friends with them and got to know them really well, and they got to know us. So at the end, it was kind of just like a friendship thing. Like, hey, we're gonna film you, but we kind of know everything about each other. So we got more and more comfortable as the process went on. But when it first started, it was so weird. I was like, this camera is in my face. Like, I don't know what to do because you're supposed to act like the camera's not there. But I don't know. It was cool. It was funny, and I feel like they did a really good job of telling our story.
What advice would you give to the youth today about education?
I would just say that at the end of the day, no matter what you want to do, you got to have an education to get there. That's kind of just the society that we live in. I was talking earlier about how you need an education to have a house, to make money, to have a job, and basically get the things that you want out of life. So, and on top of that, just having knowledge about numerous different things, whether it be just about different cultures or about the world. But I would just say it's really really important. And I know that education, homework. It can get the best of you. It can be stressful. It's not fun. I mean, it's not even fun for me sometimes, and it can get really stressful at times. But the biggest thing is that you just, focus and find a way to self-discipline yourself and get it done.
What were you feeling when you got the news that you were gonna be able to graduate in 3 years? I know that's crazy and it's kind of hard how you got it and you managed to get a 3.73 grade average.
Right. I think my GPA is a little bit different now because that was like a year ago. But
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's kind of just crazy to me that I've been able to achieve all that I have. Because when I was younger, I had no idea that I would, be doing all that I'm doing right now. But I've just been a really, really hard worker, and the fact that all my hard work's paying off, and I'm graduating from college as a 20-year-old, and I'm gonna have my master's degree by the time I'm 22. So, just knowing all that, I mean, honestly, I just have to thank my parents and thank God. If it wasn't for them, like I would not be in the position I am, and I would not be as successful as I am today. But it's a really, really great feeling.
What's your point of view on wellness throughout Indian country, knowing Native Americans have the highest diabetes rate?
Um, I feel like every race or every culture kind of has their negative the negative effects and the negative things that they have there. But I would just say I feel like people are trying to promote healthy lifestyle more and more, and I think that's a good thing, especially for Native Americans, because it's really easy to give into and I know it's kind of a hereditary thing too, but at the same time, if you try to avoid it and if you try to do the right things before all that happens, you'll do better and be a healthier person. But I would just say the biggest thing is just promote healthy lifestyles, and I feel like Native Americans are the leaders of the different tribes are actually doing that, and I think that's a great thing, especially for the youth.
How involved are you with your culture as a Native American? Hearing that the elders from the elders that you need to know your culture and your language to know where you come from.
Yeah. Honestly, growing up, we were, I used to powwow. My sister and I used to both dance. And we actually took part in this. It was like a night show where it was about like cowboys and Indians, pretty much. And we took part in that, and we did like beauty contests, Native American beauty contests and stuff like that. So and we used to go to like the Longhouse and the dinners and stuff there. And when we went to Head Start, that was the only school that I went to that was actually on the reservation, and so we learned a little bit of language when we were there. But our language, unfortunately, is really extinct, so I don't know very much. But my family recently moved to a different res, and they actually speak the same language. So my younger siblings they know a lot more than us older three. So I think that's really cool that they're starting to learn it. But I feel like being Native American is kind of more about like where you come from and the type of life that you lived. It kind of sucks because things are starting to get extinct for Native Americans, but hopefully we can find a way to bring all those back to life and just keep carrying them from generation to generation.
On the outside of basketball, what else do you like to do with your spare time?
Honestly, now I'm so busy. I like to sleep. Other than sleeping, eating, and working out, I like to go to the movies. My family, we're really into movies, so I would just say sleeping and movies.
Are you going to follow your sister's footsteps by going to the WNBA as well, or is there something else you want to do after college?
Well, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I feel like I'll have the opportunity to, to make it in the WNBA. But if I don't, that's fine. I mean, there's so many other things that I want to do. It would probably take hours for me to explain all those to you. But my main goal is to just go around speaking to Native Americans and hopefully get them to, want to be successful and never like be able to follow their dreams and actually do what they want. I mean, if I don't make it in the WNBA, then I'll probably end up playing overseas, and after that, I don't know.
How do you feel knowing that young Native girls all over the United States want to do the same thing as you ladies are doing today?
Um, I think it's just a good feeling. I think the fact that we can relate to each other, because Shawnee and I grew up on the reservation, and these young Native Americans are looking up to us as role models. I feel like it was kind of just like set in place perfectly because we were born and raised to be good people and do the right thing and be successful and live a healthy life and all that kind of stuff. So, really, I just feel like it kind of just goes hand in hand. I mean, Shawnee and I are getting to live our lives and live our dreams, but at the same time, um, we're using one stone to hit two birds where we get to do what we want get to do what we love, but at the same time it's helping other Native Americans see that they can do what they love.
Okay, well, that's it for me. Thank you for letting me allowing me to interview you, and I'd like to wish you good luck in the upcoming school year and as well as your basketball career, and safe travels back home. And
Thank you.
take care.
Thanks for having me.